Hey, Amanda.
Hi, everyone.
Hello.
Hey, Amanda.
So just so you know, we're about like 30 seconds or so behind on YouTube on the live stream. But if we want to try out those presentations, we could see if it's going to be focusing while you're sharing the presentation.
Okay. Let me see. Let me close out many things on my computer.
So I have the slideshow up on my computer. Should I try it or are you gonna do it, Amanda?
You can go ahead and try. Yeah, go ahead.
Okay. So let's see. Can you guys see that?
Yeah.
Yes. Cool.
And then just throw it in the presentation mode.
Oh, that slideshow. Well, let me try to get this out of here. Where's the presentation mode at? Can you see my screen, Freddie?
Yeah, I can see it. And I'm watching on YouTube just to see what we're going to be seeing on YouTube. So on YouTube, I see you and the presentation. I don't see in presentation mode yet, but I see your PowerPoint.
Is it slideshow and then play from start?
Yeah.
Okay.
Or just print like that little at the very top not
Not
that
that
one.
one.
So the little play button up top, there's like right the undo, like you see where the save.
Oh, this one right here.
Yeah, that guy.
Start from beginning.
Yep. Why is this showing next slide?
It looks.
Um
Yeah, because normally it'll just show the one that we're currently on, not. Let me see the display settings.
yeah, it's
Oh, that's
click on that
duplicate.
first slideshow.
Current slide.
Yeah, it's gonna be one of those settings. Hide presenter view.
Now back to
L-
where we're at. Because it should just be this, like on the full screen, right? Just
No,
one slide at a time.
um you guys dropped it off in the main drive, right, Josh? I think you told
Yeah.
me there. Okay.
Oh, no. You know what? I think this is the one from earlier this morning. We had a last minute change to the survey, and I got a hold of Carlene while she was at jury duty.
Oh, okay. So let me close out of this.
It should be saved. The access one, you might be able to show it now.
Let's see, because I'm looking in the admin presentations, communications and customer service committee.
Oh yeah, I was having trouble connecting to the server today.
Oh, okay.
Let me see. If I just send it to you, could you upload maybe? And then you can
Yeah.
see it? See.
Or Amanda, you can try presenting if you like.
Okay. Well, let's see if we could do that. Okay, Freddie, you're gonna have to walk me through this. I haven't presented in Zoom. I always do it in Teams.
Yeah, no worries. So just click on share screen. Do you have your presentation up and running?
Yes.
Okay, so click on share screen. You can just choose like I think desktop. Let me see what it says. Desktop.
Yeah, that share screen button should be at the bottom. It should be in green with like a green arrow.
The one that I'm like, oh, that's it.
Like right in the middle. I know I was looking for it too. I was like, where is it? But it's like
Yeah,
right
that's
there
right.
and highlighted in green.
Okay,
So
so
if you try to click that presentation button? So it's going to be, let's see. Yep, play from start. There you go.
Oh, there it goes.
All right, tag you're it.
oh,
Okay, so yeah, like Josh, go ahead and say something.
Yep. Can you still hear me?
Yep, so I see you pop up on Zoom. Let me make sure you pop up on YouTube right now when you're talking. So in case she's presenting, we want to see you. Okay.
So it's doing like a split screen. So you see like half the presentation, half the other half me speaking.
Yeah, let me see. I can show you guys in a second. Yep. So the
Okay.
presentation, and then when you're talking, even though she's controlling the presentation, when you're talking, it shows you on the upper right in YouTube.
Okay, cool.
So it's similar to Zoom.
Sounds
oh,
good.
yeah. And then, so Jake will do the crop swap and then we'll go straight into your customer service metrics.
Yeah.
And then we have, is it 4 slides?
Yeah, I think it's four, and then the for the year, and then the next thing should be
All
uh the survey. Yeah.
right.
All right. I think we're all ready to go, right?
Ooh.
Yay,
Sounds
15
good.
minutes.
Figured it out.
I'm just gonna keep recording, but I'm not gonna mute anything. I'm just gonna mute my mic because I don't want to forget to unmute the Zoom. Because
Okay.
that's kind of where everything's running on. So as long as you guys feel comfortable, uh, well,
Good.
I'll wait.
Thanks,
Should
Freddie.
I,
Yeah, no
Freddie,
problem.
should I leave my screen sharing for now or?
Yeah, I think it's good if we leave it there, like on that communications customer service. I like that.
Okay, perfect.
And just so you guys know, I usually monitor both the Zoom and the YouTube chat. So if there's anything, you guys will just see me kind of either raise my hand or try to speak up if anybody has a question.
Cool. Sounds good.
Freddie, since I'm sharing my screen, is there a way to mute myself if I needed to? Or can I just press escape if I'm?
So at the very top when you're presenting, your controls control should show up and you should be able to mute it. Like if you just slide your mouse towards the top. Like because you're on the Zoom, you should see something that says like you're presenting at the very top in like green or something like that.
Yeah, okay, perfect. Then I see it. I wanted to make sure in case I have to cough or something, I can mute myself.
No worries. All right, so we got 13 minutes left, and as people come in, I'll make them presenters.
Okay.
Hey, Freddie, the camera for the boardroom turned on. I don't know if you meant to do that.
Yeah, I'm testing something with the camera.
Oh, okay.
Like we got a little bit of time. I was gonna test something.
Okay, just making sure.
Appreciate it. Do you guys know if we have a call-in user or is it just guests joining us?
I'm not sure. I don't know if anyone was going to call in. I think everyone that usually joins online has access to Zoom.
Gotcha.
So like having Jordan there is very beneficial because he's in a room working all day. It's not like everybody can sit at the same place. Hey, how's it going, Jake?
Hey Josh, how are you?
Good, good. Hanging in there.
Hey Jake, how are you?
I'm hanging in there too.
Thanks for taking care of that call today.
What's that?
Thanks for taking care of the call today.
Yeah, he's a nice guy. He's a really nice guy. And yeah, so
Fair warning, we're recording right now on YouTube and on Zoom.
okay.
Got it.
This has been my best friend lately, right here.
Yeah, that's I've been there last couple days.
Same.
Definitely something going around.
Ready? Janine is trying to log on and she's saying she needs a participation number, a participant number.
Who is? I'm sorry.
Janine?
Is she the one calling in right now?
Well, she can say she is. Let me ask her.
Okay.
Josh, that is Janine calling in and she's muted. So I think if you promote her to panelist, you should be okay to unmute and mute, right? I'm sorry, Freddie.
Yeah, I just allowed get to talk. I'll change the name here.
There we go. Thank you.
Hi, Janine.
Hi, thank you.
See Bill Stewart? Oh, there's Bill Shoot. See them both.
Hey, Jake.
Hey.
And Dr. Hamilton's joining right now as well.
Yeah, very nice.
So we still do the Pledge of Allegiance? Do I have a flag? Oh, there's one. Hey, why is the weather so nice where you are, Hayden?
I gotta change my background.
To a monsoon soaked whatever.
Is that your plane?
I wish. It's about $250,000 Beech Stagger Wing, 1930s.
All right, so who are we still waiting on?
I think everybody's here. Janine's on phone.
Oh, okay, I can't see her.
Janine, can you hear
I'm
us?
here.
Oh, there you
Yes,
go.
I can. Thank you.
Great.
Perfect. Okay, so can we get started? Yep, okay. It's 3:31 calling the meeting to order. All right, item 2, Pledge of Allegiance. So I guess we're virtually Pledge of Allegiancing, right?
Sure.
Let's do it.
Okay. And begin. I pledge allegiance
To the
To the
flag
flag.
of the United
The
States of
United States of
America,
America and
to the republic for which
for
it
which it
stands,
stands,
one nation,
under
under
God,
God, indivisible,
indivisible, with liberty and
justice
justice
for all.
go. I knew I had a little flag there for a reason. Okay. All right, roll call. Bill Shoot present. Mr. Stewart,
Yes.
you're on mute, Bill.
Okay, I just unmuted. Can you hear me?
You're good. You're good. Okay, Hayden
I'm here.
or Hamilton, Janine.
Here.
Okay. All right. Roll call is complete. We are present, a full house. Is there public on the call?
Nobody from the public.
No.
No, I don't see public.
Okay, I'm gonna skip item 4. Gonna skip item 5 since we're a full house. We do not need to seat any alternates. Item number 6, additions, deletions, amendments to the agenda.
Staff has none.
All right.
I have none.
I have none.
Janine.
None. No. None,
Oh.
thank you.
All righty. I have none. All right. Is there any written public comments that we received for item 7?
I have not received any request to speak.
Okay. So, no comments. All right, item 8. Approval of the January 4th minutes. Does everybody have that in front of them? Does it need to be shared? Was it part of the packet sent out?
It was part of the packet.
Yes.
Yes. I move we accept the minutes.
I second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Roll call, I guess, because we're virtual.
Janine, yes.
For clarification, I'm sorry, this is Therese. Was the motion by member Stewart and second by member Shute?
I think it was member Hamilton motioned, Stewart seconded, I think.
Thank you.
Correct.
Clarification.
And since we're virtual, we have to do a roll call vote, correct?
Therese, will you run them through a roll call?
Of course. Member Shute,
Aye.
member Hamilton,
Aye.
member Stewart,
Aye.
member Malakovich.
Aye.
Motion carries unanimously. Thank you.
Great, thank you very much for that. Item 9, Mr. General Manager, comments.
Yeah, just a couple things. Wanted to bring you up to speed. Board meeting, what was that, last week? A couple of items of note. As you know, we have a vacancy on the board from Gaska's resignation, his relocation. And we had 12 candidates that actually submitted letters of interest from Division 3. Really great group of candidates, highly qualified. And so the board really had their work cut out for them. We actually conducted interviews during the board meeting. Each candidate got questions ahead of time, and we gave each of them 5 minutes to address the board and address those questions as thoroughly as possible. And 7 candidates came and actually did the interviews. The board whittled it down to 2 finalists, 2 really, really highly qualified candidates that are actually going to come back in February. And the board wanted to dig a little bit deeper and before making a final selection. The 2 candidates are Carrie Dale, she's former water utilities director from the city of Oceanside, longtime Fallbrook resident, and Lisa Herman, who was a board member up at Rancho California Water District for 20 plus years. And so those are your finalists for the Division 3 spot.
Okay, so next month then they'll be
Yeah, next month, and then they'll go through the appointments as well, as far as committees and things like that need to be filled. So yeah, so to be continued in February.
So Jake, you didn't like my cage match comment?
I didn't pick up on it. Is that how you wanted to do the final selection?
I was asking if that's how the board had decided. Well, it sounds like great candidates. That's great. Thanks for that update.
Yeah, and the another item, we approved a construction management contract for the pump station project. So that's really our last really, you know, I guess board action item on that pump station. And that's really moving full steam ahead. We're all clear on CEQA, and we actually had a pre-construction meeting with the contractor, Pacific Hydrotech, yesterday, which went really well. The sites have actually already been cleared, and well, obviously they're not working today or probably in the next week, but we're still working on submittals and everything else. So it's we're pushing really hard to get that project rolling and completed. So but so far off to a really good start. The CM contract was with Valley Construction Management, submitted a good proposal, and they've done one of these pump stations before, so I think that probably gave them a little bit of a leg up. But yeah, I had seven people submit proposals, 7 construction management firms, so a lot of interest in the project. So we awarded that. Still making progress too on the operations plans for with County Water Authority. We had a initial meeting on the more difficult aqueduct, the first aqueduct. So those are the ones to the east, come kind of directly out of Skinner and down south, that service 2 of our connections 1 and 10. And that went pretty well. We spent about an hour and a half or so kind of talking through a lot of the logistics and some of the issues and things like that. We're gonna have another meeting in a couple of weeks. But things are, I think, progressing pretty well with those operations plans too. We did get a commitment out of them that Rainbow would get the operations plan on the draft operations plan on the second aqueduct. That's the one that Fallbrook already has, so should be pretty straightforward as far. I mean, it's kind of replace Fallbrook with Rainbow, and for the most part, that's it. But we're expecting to see that in February, and we should have that done shortly after that. End of February, we'll see that. So things moving really well on that too. Those are kind of the two, those are the 2 major things that are pushing us towards detachment. So, or finalizing detachment. So that's, obviously a big focus of mine and staff's. Let's see, started kicking off some of the, the big efforts on, budgeting, to be quite honest, budgeting for this upcoming fiscal year. We had an initial meeting on the 5-year CIP, just, as a staff. So starting to run through that. Obviously, there's a lot of changes because of, the timing is now very certain or fairly certain on the detachment. So that, brings in a lot of different things. Also the settlement agreement, some things in there as part of the settlement agreement. So we have to incorporate all those things into the CIP. Also as part of that budget process, and I don't think he was able to jump on today, but our new CFO started a week ago Monday. His name is Rick Aragon. And so he's already digging in on, on the finance side. So I think the plan there is the board will probably, what we committed to was kind of a schedule of events, budget wise, at the February board meeting that, kind of laying out, looking at rates and, exit fee and, all these different things. We wanted to give him more than 3 days to actually get something put together. So, so we gave him a little bit of a break, but he's a great finance guy. I've worked for them in the past, and even beyond finance, I think he's just going to be a great partner, moving all the big initiatives forward for the district. So really happy to have Rick on board, and already making a difference in just the first couple of weeks.
Right.
Only thing I was going to mention is, rainfall is great. It doesn't help our water sales, but I know it's important for our customers. The big thing too is they're expecting to get, I was hearing 2 to 4 feet up in the Sierras through the, as these storms roll through, or maybe even more than that. The State Water Project allocation started at 10%, which is pretty low. Usually too, they update it by about the 25th of the month. So they start in December, and then about the 20, sometime in that time frame, you'll get an update each month, and haven't done it for January yet. My hunch is they're probably waiting for this to pass through and then give an update, or maybe it'll come late February. I'm not sure, but it should make a huge difference. And this thing's going to roll right into Colorado too, so it's going to be a big boost on that side. So the water supply condition I think looks really good. One storm obviously doesn't do a whole year's worth, but I think this is going to get us close to kind of average in those areas. So it's a big deal for the water supply. But that's all I've got on the general manager's report, unless you want to know more.
There you go. Questions for Mr. General Manager? Hayden, anything? Bill?
Nope.
Hayden, was that a no?
Yeah.
No, I don't
I'm
have
fine.
any-
I'm just thrilled with the report and how well things are moving.
Excellent. Janine?
No.
Okay. All right. Thanks, Jake. Committee member comments. Mr. Stewart, any comments?
None to speak of, except that I do appreciate the media articles that you sent us. I do subscribe to the Village News, and I've been pretty pleased overall with the level of reporting and accuracy of most of what we're probably providing them, which is important. And the local community, I'm sure, is very happy to have updates now that they voted this positively. And I just like the number of and detail of all those articles and all that media.
Great. Thanks, Bill. Hayden?
Only thing I have just popped on my radar just before this meeting, which is CSDA has annual award nominations open May 1st. And I think we should consider nominating ourselves. The annual awards showcase our members' most valuable contributions to the communities they serve. And I think detachment falls right in there with the vote.
Yes.
So I'd like to get that on our communications agenda.
Sure.
All right.
Would you like to have a motion to that effect, Hayden?
I don't know that it needs to, I wasn't making a motion. But if you'd like to second it, go ahead, Bill.
I'll second that. I'd like to see it in the form of a recommendation to the board that we think that our district and the community as a whole and our district should be recognized for this immense.
And I think the vote shows that the community was totally in support.
Yes.
All right. So we have a motion, a second. All those in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Roll
Aye.
call vote.
Aye.
Could we get
Aye.
Thank you. And can we get a roll call vote?
Yes, verbal roll call. Member Stewart,
Yes.
member Shute,
Aye.
member Hamilton,
Aye.
member Milikovich.
Aye.
Motion carries unanimously. Thank you.
All right. That Milokovic, we gotta work on that. That's a tough one. Yeah, I always have problems with that too. Okay, so hey, Janine, any
Yes.
committee member comment?
No, I don't.
Sorry, guys. My 347 spam call. So on the my only comments are with when we have these weather systems come in, and Jake, I definitely it's great news for the supply and stuff, but it also causes a lot of work, preparation, planning for the district, right? To prepare for whether it's an excessive amount of water and how it impacts our infrastructure. Is that how do we communicate that? How do we, whether it's a banner or some type of communication on our website, or should we be, talking about, because I mean, it's a service. It's part of the meat and potatoes, right, of what you guys do. But I mean, people think about, I guess that's what I'm saying, is people think about how this storm's going to impact themselves. Maybe it's their commute, maybe it's their property, maybe it's the drainage that they haven't taken care of. Maybe it's the water coming from their neighbor, whatever it happens to be, right? People think about it that way, but people might not be thinking about what the water district's doing to ensure that weather we're prepared for it, or it's mitigated and stuff like that. Is there any opportunity to kind of communicate our action plan or the types of things that we do, so the ratepayers kind of know what's going on there? It seems like we're getting more and more of this stuff, right? So it may be something you want to talk about. Thoughts there?
Yeah, and that's couple things obviously come to mind. We did put in our newsletter last month about like home preparedness, right? Clean out your drains, your roof gutters, and kind of the suggestions to homeowners, trying to be helpful. Honestly, for us, it's more you hit on the head, the drainage part. So like I said, we went out and we were clearing these pump station sites the other day. So we also went out and put together some BMPs to make sure we're not now running off a bunch of dirt and things like that. So usually ahead of these things, like we're maintaining our easements and doing things like that. It's mostly just erosion based on the water side. Those are the things we're concerned about.
Power,
Really,
though, right? Aren't you pre-deploying generators in case of outages or anything like that?
But most of our facilities now have permanent standby. We just finished a couple of projects on that. We did do that actually this week. We deployed one out to a lift station, and that's kind of where I was headed. The bigger impacts are actually on the sewer side, because we get a ton of we get a bunch of I&I, especially when streams really start flowing, and we've got manholes that cross San Luis Rey Creek and all over the place that are kind of impacted by when we get big runoff. And so our guys have to do a lot on the sewer side. There's really not a lot for the customers to do. It's a force of nature. But we could probably do that, where we showcase I think that would be good for a future newsletter, kind of showcase how the district prepares and the kind of steps we take. I actually went out to one of the sites where they were, we actually put some additional storage, a couple of like temporary Baker tanks and things like that, because we do have some capacity limitations, certain portions of our system. I'm learning all this as well, but the guys they do a lot. It's hard work to actually prepare for the winter. And today I heard everything went pretty well. No real problems. But obviously we continue to monitor that stuff. But I think it's a good idea to at least showcase some of that stuff. I think that's a good newsletter, and/or obviously if there's an emergency, we would put throw the banner up on the website and communicate that. But I think it's a good suggestion.
Doing the ratepayer, you've got people out there working for them.
Right.
Yeah.
Right. And we talked a lot about, I think a couple of years back, right, when some of the generators that you were mentioning were being provisioned and staged and those types of things. But that to be able to recap what those contingencies and what's happened over the last few years and what's being done now to properly position us in case of these more significant weather events. Not a bad topic to talk about.
Yeah.
So, okay.
Yeah.
All right.
We'll do. Thanks.
Go back to my agenda. Okay. I think that wraps up item 10. Taking us to item 11, the crop swap update.
And I don't know oh, there we go. Perfect. I think there's just one slide, so you can go ahead and advance it. I don't know if that's Amanda. Oh, there you go.
Yes.
Very good. So crop swap program, I think we talked about this last month, so I won't go, well, it's quick anyways. This was, program originally kind of born by Rancho California Water District. And the original program really focused on swapping out higher water use crops for lower water use crops. So swapping avocados for wine grapes, or avocados for citrus, or citrus for wine grapes. Anything that would produce water savings. That was kind of the intent of the program. They've got $5 million in grant funding they secured from the state, and want to make some adjustments to the program. And I think they're really good adjustments to not, again, still, there's still significant incentives for projects like that, for an actual swap of, different crop type, but also putting in there, swapping avocados for avocados, right? So there's water savings there as an old grove goes down and a new grove goes up, and then obviously new varieties and things like that that are a little more salt tolerant. And I'm not a deep expert on that, but it includes those types of projects as well that are going to be incentivized. And I think that's really important for our region. I mean, we may have some folks that want to switch the type of crop, but really the majority of the interest I've heard has been in that part of the program where you have an old grove that's maximum water use, but the actual production's now waning. And the idea of revitalizing that grove, and for us, and I probably mentioned this last time, but kind of a long-term play, right? We want to keep that, obviously help our customers stay in the agricultural business, kind of the fabric of our community. And but also, I mean, that's, we sell a lot of water through those programs, so reinvesting in that I think helps us long term. The activities that have gone on, we do have an MOU. It's now been circulated among all the agencies. The lawyers have reviewed it and all that kind of good stuff. And so we are looking to take that to the board for consideration this month at the end of February. And there's a couple of key items. It's mostly a feel-good MOU. I mean, they're going to share the grant money with us, so that's fantastic. They want it to be a regional program and potentially expand if the demand's there. Continue to pursue grant funding from if there's additional from the state, or U.S. Bureau of Reclamation is always interested in water savings programs, and they funded actually some of the original crop swap program. So I think there could be again, if the demand's there, opportunity for that. It does require an initial initial investments, 25,000 per agency. And really that's to fund all of the upfront activities. So there's going to be a website, and really that website is going to host even like initial applications. So somebody goes on and says, hey, I think I'm interested in this. Let me fill out everything I've got. 10-acre property. I've got avocados. This is what I want to do. And it kind of gives you that initial, yeah, you're eligible for the program. Now let's move you into kind of the next phase. Rancho is going to hire they call it a limited term. So it'll be a couple years, 2.5 year, 3 year, whatever the program. I think it's end of 26. So about a 2-year, probably a 2-year contract for someone just to administer the program. So, and I think that's key too, because so basically all the customers funneled through that administrator, everything's consistent. The payouts, everything is, kind of becomes very consistent with a centralized program. And then all the marketing materials. So they're putting together some really nice marketing materials, both for some outreach. So to do, we're probably going to do a little road show where we'll go to the AGC and these different meetings and kind of pitch this thing to the grower community. But then also for our newsletter, for the Avocado Festival, there's going to be a little trifold that they're making for the program. So a lot of marketing materials that basically will be available to all of us to distribute. The program is going to roll out in the April-May timeframe. All these things are kind of happening concurrently. The website's being built, the contract administrator. They're recruiting for that right now. And so that's, all that stuff. We think it's going to line up April, May. The funding's already there. They did finalize the agreement with DWR. So yes, we're actually getting ready to roll. So in the next few months, you'll start hearing a lot more about that. And obviously we're going to hit it hard in our newsletter and on our website and all those things. And we've already got about 24 ratepayers that put or growers that put their name on a kind of a early interest list, and I imagine we'll get more. I actually talked to a guy today, and he was gonna sign up as well, 900 lemon trees or something like that. But anyway, so that's kind of the update on the program. We're kind of full steam ahead on this thing, and if you have any questions, I'm happy to answer them.
Thank you. So I can't switch for almonds. Is that what you're saying? Okay.
I honestly, I think it's open. Well, I don't know. Almonds, I don't think that's low water use, right?
That was a joke, I think.
That was a joke. Sorry about that. I saw our governor on Bill Maher, and he hit him right with the water usage of the almond growers up in Central Valley. So
Yeah.
No, this is great. This is great. Actually, I've got a neighbor right next to me who's easily got to have 1,000 lemon trees.
Yeah.
We'll talk to them.
The thing I forgot to mention too, some of it's just efficiencies too. We'll do irrigation efficiencies and things like that. That's all in there too as part of there's incentives for that too. So even if you just want to keep your crop, but you want to make some improvements, there's stuff for that too.
Excellent. Thanks for that update. Questions? Bill, Hayden, Janine, any?
None
Jake?
for me. It's great.
None.
Okay. All right. Thank you so much.
You bet.
Moving on to item 12, our quarterly customer service call metrics. All right. This is going to be good. I'm excited.
All right. Yep. So this is going
Come
to
on,
be
John.
for Q4 here.
All right.
So this is going to be the average hold time. So you can see October, average hold time was 45 seconds, November, 46 seconds, and then December, down to 42 seconds. So pretty consistent there. And there's that little trend line that you can see that members requested at the last meeting. And then the next slide is going to be the average talk time. October, you're looking at 4 minutes, 33 seconds, November, 4 minutes, 30 seconds, and then December, 4 minutes, 56 seconds average talk time. The reason why December went up a little bit is because we're getting a lot more calls for like what happens next after the detachment vote, so we're just being more thorough, like, kind of explaining what the next steps were, basically giving them some material that we had printed up here. So that's the reason you had a slight increase in December for the average talk time. And then the next one's going to be the call volume. So October, 1,082, I believe that's the highest we've had this year. And the reason why that's higher is because for the same thing, that's when the calls are coming in about the election, right? They're like, hey, what does it mean to vote yes on this one or no on this? So got a lot of calls about that. Again, just providing consistent information to all of our customers. And you can start seeing it go back down in November to 844. And in December, just kind of levels off at 815. And then the next slide is going to be the calls for the entire year. So 816 January, 757 February, little spike in March, 877 back down to 763 in April, 830 for May, 899. It's pretty consistent. And then again, you have that spike in October for the election calls and then went down. So averages around like 800 to 900 calls. So it's being pretty consistent.
Looks like it kind of it follows also along the lines of when people turn their irrigation on and when they see
summer months.
the summer, right?
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Yeah, we'll get calls like, hey, my bill's more expensive, because a lot of times what we see is sometimes people don't understand the billing periods, right? They get billed for a month and then they'll see that on the following bill. So they'll say like, hey, I didn't use that much water this month, so kind of taking the time to explain that to them, like the actual dates that they were billed for.
Gotcha. Okay, great.
So that's the last slide I have on that. Did anyone have any other questions about the calls or anything related to the metrics?
No, great presentation. I think I like the trend lines, and as we move forward, you know, to keep the quarter going to a semi-annual number and to be able to, you know, to keep that historical stuff that you're showing now as we add months and quarters on, to be able to look back like we're looking, you know, in an entire year here, 2023. I think on some of those other metrics that will be nice to see as well. So very good. Nothing else from me, Bill.
Yeah, I just wondered, is the call system working as efficiently as I'm deducing from your comments?
You're saying the call system that we have? I'm sorry, can you repeat
Yes,
that?
yeah. How you receive the calls, how they get transferred, how you know, what you can do with that information. Is it all working together well?
Yeah, absolutely. So all these numbers you see here is all the incoming calls. So it's including the people that
Tracking all.
request callbacks.
So it's tracking all of that, which we never had before, and that's just great information to own.
Yeah, absolutely. So it just groups it all together. So, you know, someone can call, and if they don't want to wait, they can request a callback. So all those are recorded in this. We don't have a way to differentiate who requests a callback, but that's bunched into this whole number here.
Right.
Thank you, Bill. Hayden?
No, it's good information. Good to see we're keeping those calls short.
Great. Thanks, Hayden. Janine?
The wait times, I mean, you know.
Nope, all good. Sounds good.
Okay. Josh, thanks so much. Appreciate that.
Thank you.
And well done. Item 12, item 13, customer service survey.
Hey, thank you for everyone for replying to the email about our survey. This is a review of our current survey questions to give you a refresher. Our goal with this is to remove the detachment question and add the communication preferences, reformat the questions so we can really capture the overall experience with customer service. And Josh and I met to discuss ways that we can kind of improve on those questions. And then establish a rating scale. I know, Bill, you had emailed about keeping that 1 to 10 broad spectrum scale. And then Janine had mentioned maybe, you know, try another alternate way of measuring. So we have the next slide to include ways that we can address that. So our current scale, we have 3 yes, no answer options. One question has a rating of, you know, very well, somewhat well, extremely well, not so well, which can kind of be confusing for some users because it doesn't clearly delineate, you know, did I get all my answers fulfilled? So the idea behind this is to establish a 1 through 5 scale, where 5 being highly satisfied and 1 is the lower end of highly dissatisfied. That is completely open to everyone's feedback if that would be something that you'd like us to see move forward with. It would just give our audience a few more options to rate us with their overall experience. And
Okay.
The next slide is our proposed questions for the survey for this year. How would you rate your overall experience with Rainbow Water? Did our team explain information clearly and concisely? Was your issue resolved? Would you like to be contacted for further assistance? And this gives them the option to leave their name, phone number, or email so that we may follow up with them. And as a customer, what Rainbow topics are you most concerned about? We have a list of, you know, roughly 20, and usually we gauge about 15 of those with our survey, most of them being about rates or other projects. And then our final question is, how do you prefer to receive information? And this will help us to, you know, narrow down with our communications strategy, how we want to disseminate information to our audience. So these questions help us, you know, explain information, review the experience, allow us to have a follow-up email, and then establish that consistent metric scale for us to measure all of these results.
All right, and remind me, question 6 is that's a carryover question?
Yes, that is. In the previous, let's see, the first slide, we have here topics ranging from rising rates, water quality, billing accuracy, water use efficiency, supply rehab, drought restrictions, aging infrastructure, emergency prep. So usually we're right at the top 5 of those is where we receive the most responses.
Because there's a lot of choices, right?
Yes, there are. And the users can select up to 6 topics there, but those first 5 were the ones that hit the hardest with most of the survey responses.
But they were those were spread out, sprinkled through the choices, or were those the top 6? And they went
So,
click, click, click.
Yeah, the order that we have here is the order that the rating that we received in the survey. So rising rates, water quality, billing accuracy, water use efficiency, supply rehab, and drought restrictions were our top responses from our survey.
Uh-huh. Okay. Questions, comments from the committee? Can you go back to 2024? There you go.
There you go.
Bill, anything?
No, I just think this is really well done and thought through.
Okay. Hayden?
Yeah, I agree with Bill. I like the fact moving to a rating scale as opposed to, you know, set a star ranking type of thing of yes, I'm satisfied to no, I'm dissatisfied thing. I like the scale. It gives you a metric that you can average and check against.
Okay. Anything else, Hayden?
That's it.
Janine?
I'm sorry I'm at a disadvantage because I can't see it, but I do like having a scale where we can look at it like he was saying, so it's not just yes or no type of a thing, that you can get a little bit more of the nuances and hopefully find out if they do have concerns or they do have areas that they think that there is room for improvement. Then we can flesh that out more and see if it's something that's actually actionable. Or oftentimes it may just people, it comes down to the pocketbook. So sometimes people are just upset that they have to pay for a particular service or the amount that they have to pay. So, and that's not something that we can really impact. But if there's other things that we can look at or try to work to get, we can improve their overall rating or their feeling about the district, that would be wonderful.
Okay, good feedback. So on number 6, the surveys that we have got, I understand what you just said with regards to the ones that come out. Are there 10 of those that nobody ever clicks?
We do have a kind of a very spread out version. I think this response was 83% people filled out this section. And we can always change those topics to kind of pivot to what our current needs are for this year.
So I'm saying of the 20 topics, when you look back at the results, what percentage of them never got selected?
Oh, those were actually the ones that were farther down on the end. So community engagement was really hardly ever selected. Support growth, regulation compliance. Those 3 were on the very bottom end where we received maybe less than 10% of the votes.
Okay, so there aren't any that we could drop because nobody ever clicks on them. I guess
Correct.
that's going, right? That with so many choices, maybe is it more helpful to have fewer choices that and engage the concern about that smaller subset, right? 20 seems like a lot.
Yeah. No, I agree with you. I think if we lowered it down, it would kind of help us with analyzing the data so that we don't have such a strong pool of topics there.
Anybody have any issues with maybe skinning that list down a little bit?
No, I think it's a good idea.
Okay. All right.
Either that or replacing those less frequently responded to questions with additional questions. But I'm still more in favor of paring the list down.
Okay. Any other comments? My only other question was, did in your work on this, in the comments and the feedback that was provided prior, were you able to find any other standards that or common usages or usage from other water districts, either in California or other places that could serve as a model or ideas or best practices that we can use?
There were several we compared, and also other cities that have performed surveys as part of their rate studies they've done, and everyone was very unique with their type of rating scale. But overall, the 1-to-5 ratio allowed for a better response as to not overwhelm the survey user with too many options or too many questions. I think that was the real key, is we wanted to limit the number of questions so someone doesn't think they're taking too much time away from their day to complete this. And we felt the 1-to-5 scale was perfect for the customer service experience. Most retailers also use a 1-to-5 scale to quickly move through the questions. But we are similar to most of our sister agencies. Everyone has their own individual scales per topic, but we tried to keep in line with many of those.
Okay, great. Thank you, Amanda. So more slides on this topic, or is that it?
That's it.
All right, great. I can't see ahead, so I apologize.
Okay.
Okay, moving on then to item 14, the strategic communications plan. Yay.
Okay, right now we are in the discovery stage. We are going to be soliciting our team members for feedback, and we're going to review our current communications materials, perform a SWOT analysis, use demographic research from the 2020 census, and then make a channel assessment. And after we've done that, we'll move through the development and documentation stage. So part of our discovery is the Thursday, February 15th workshop that we will have at the district. We have 2 board members attending, and of course our committee, and just a little over a dozen of our Rainbow team members are going to be in person to discuss with us their overall experience and how we can improve upon our communications internally and externally. Our goal is to get insight from our different departments, especially those who are having interactions with the public on a daily basis in meters and customer service. We want to pick their brains and get the gist of how we can improve our strategic communications plan.
And remind me, how is this being facilitated?
We will have lunch provided at the district after this meeting. And Carlene and I will be leading. Jake will also be in attendance at the meeting. And it's going to be a roundtable of, we'll get into individual groups to discuss topics and then come back and collect that information to narrow down our goals and objectives for the plan.
Okay, well, my question wasn't around food. There was no donut. But I meant, so on the facilitation side, we're going to do it internally, right? There's not going to be an outside or external facilitator to come in, right?
Correct, yeah.
So it's you guys with Jake are going to facilitate.
Yes, we will be.
That's the first I heard of that.
Well, it's Carlene and I leading, and then Jake will be there to assist us with
a hammer, right? Participate. I got it. All right.
You are there as an observer and as a participant, but we would like for you to come in, and if you have any
Set the tone.
we can make. Yeah, definitely. Especially with your experience. We'd like to take that.
We talking about Jake?
Yes.
Good. All right. Well, Jake's going to come in. He's the heavy. Great. All right. Well, this sounds great. I'm looking forward to it.
Yeah, it's going to be a wonderful way for all of our team members who don't usually meet face to face to come together and share their experiences in ways that we can really improve upon our communication with the public.
Excellent. Questions? Hayden, anything for Amanda?
Nope.
William, Bill,
No, I don't. I'll look forward to it.
Janine?
No,
Okay. Moving on. All right, that takes us to item 15, community events update.
Okay, we are continuing on with promoting the NCWA poster contest with local schools. We've got in touch with charter schools and homeschools to give them entry forms. I'm going to be following up to pick up those forms from our school sites. We have it currently advertised in our newsletter and on the website, and we'll be developing a press release to place in the Village News. We have until April 1st, so roughly just before the kids go out on spring break to gather all of the entries. And we won't know the actual winners until fall when the calendar is being put together, but we'll be sure to present those winning students with a certificate and then their calendar as well.
In eternity, I think we're gonna have to remind them that they put in a submission, but that's great. No,
It is quite some time. And we do have entry forms at the district office and calendars available to the public.
okay. Excellent.
Okay, and our field trip, we have confirmation just received this morning that Bonsall High School students will be coming to visit the district on Thursday, April 25th. Right now, we're in the very beginning planning stages and coordinating all of our release forms, and we'll put together an agenda for the day and of course invite all of our committee members to join us. We are targeting this year students in not just their STEM program, but chemistry students, math students, and then they have a new cybersecurity unit that was introduced last fall. And we're hoping to be able to capture those students as well as other career technical education students.
Okay.
And we'll be able to put the grant award we received to use with this field trip in purchasing all of our PPE and other promotional materials.
So high level, real quick, compared to when we did the first or restarted, the field trip, or I don't know if there had been one done prior. I think the first field trip was a couple, right? 2 times ago. Was that correct?
It was in May of last year.
Okay, so post-COVID, that was our first one, right? So from that to the last one, now what kind of overhead for management and district personnel compared to before? I mean, is it we pretty much have got the formula done, and it's just the time to go out and execute the field trip as far as the planning and the materials and all that other kind of stuff? I mean, is this a less of a lift, I guess, now for you and the team?
Yeah, we've definitely have a system in place. It's a lot of coordination internally with our operations team members. They have take time out of their schedule to set everything up, and then engineering team as well. They create plans for us and then have all of their team members support us. So I'd say operations and engineering play a huge part in these field trips. We could not do it without them.
Okay.
And we did tell you we got a $3,000 grant for these things from Met. So that's yeah,
Awesome.
helpful.
Do we know what these trips actually cost us in terms of not direct expense, but indirect expense like labor?
We
Are
did
we talking about 100 man hours or 30 man hours or?
I do know that Amelia was working with our managers on collecting that data.
Okay. I'm not opposed to spending it, just it would be nice to have some idea of what its cost is.
Yeah. I think the second is probably closer. There's, it's about a 3 hour, 3.5 hour event and, 10, 12 people. So you're probably looking at probably 50. It's probably,
Yeah.
50 hours,
Plus
something like
prep
that.
time, the actual event plus prep time.
Yeah. And I'm going to do their career day here in a couple of weeks. So I'll be pushing, you should come to the district to see it, try to, there were some good other options the last time. So I think we need to promote our event.
That's at the school.
It is. Yeah.
All right, other questions on the 2024 spring field trip? All right, Amanda, continue.
Okay, and then we have our avocado festival. Right now we are in the planning stages. We're developing some really fantastic collateral materials, a brochure that's going to feature our rates and a guide to reading your water bill. This will help alleviate a lot of the questions that we receive on a day-to-day basis about what our charges are, what's this acronym mean. This is our overall how-to guide that we're going to have at the event, and then create a few other one-pagers that we may have on issues from sewage or meters. Those are to be developed, and then we'll of course have the crop swap trifold. We're going to be ordering promotional items and shift it up this year so that we have a lot more items that are compact and eco-friendly. And then we're going to coordinate with staff to work in shifts at the event so that we can have representatives from admin, customer service, and operations.
Excellent. Wow. Can't believe it's almost going to be that then. So by fast. Okay. Any questions from the committee on the preparations for the Avocado Festival? All right, Amanda.
Okay. Oh, that's it for this.
Okay. All right. Thank you very much. On to item 16, newsletter content planning.
Okay, for the month of February, we have a recap here. We, with the suggestion from Hayden, we've included a quick feature on our new CFO. And then leaning into the leaks, we have time to check for leak tips from WaterSense. We have a feature on the rebate program from SoCal WaterSmart, and then a spread about Flume tips. So all of the frequently asked questions that Flume has on their website, they created a little how-to guide for us to review their most common questions. Will my Wi-Fi reach the meter? Will I be able to install this on my own? And then we're leaning into some of the Flume video links that we'll have available that are currently on our website. We're also putting out the call for the calendar contest. And our winter issue of the quarterly newsletter to our non-ratepayers went out this week. It's a summary of our past 3 months. So we have the detachment update, an anniversary and history of our formation, and promotion of the NCWA poster contest.
Okay. Any questions from the committee with regards to the newsletter?
Okay, can we go back to the Avocado Festival slide for just 1 second?
Sure.
The previous slide there. I think we ought to also highlight Flume there while we're at it.
Yeah, that's a great idea.
Thank you.
Any other comments from the committee on any of the topics? Okay. Moving on, item 17, public communications and related media stories.
Sorry, Bill, I had one more on newsletter planning.
Oh, sorry.
It's okay, just one more second. This is planning ahead for March and April. We've kind of shifted it up. So March, we're going to feature the crop swap program to give an overview on how to apply. Jake, do you think that would still work out, or should we push that to April?
I think March is actually going to be good timing. I
Okay.
think we want to get the word out a little earlier than the program.
Okay,
Yeah.
excellent. And at the suggestion of the customer service team, they would like us to feature the how to read your bill on this issue, and we'll break down sort of like the rates brochure that we're going to have at the Avocado Festival. We're going to explain items on the bill, acronyms, rates, and then payment options. And then also to tie in there, explain the value of water, the price of water pays for components of our infrastructure, maintenance, and more to deliver safe, reliable water. So we want to capture what happens up until you turn on your faucet to get a better understanding of all the work that we're doing prior to them receiving that water. And for the month of April, we're going to give a capital improvement projects with photo feature of the soon to be hopefully completed thoroughbred station. We're going to give information on planting for spring with rebates from Met. They're going to be introducing a brand new tree bait program in March, and it will also work in tandem with their turf removal program. And we hope to launch the new survey and kind of have it in the April issue, and then give our last push to see us at the Avocado Festival.
Okay. Questions from the committee?
Just one for me, and that is starting with the Bonsall service field trip and all of these screens that Amanda, that you've used for this series of presentations. Could you put these in some kind of a PDF form and email them to us?
Sure.
I'd love to be able to copy them off and have them to use for reference as I'm watching these things unfold and planning to attend things. And that'd be a real help.
Yeah, that was a great idea.
So that would be great. Thank you.
Bill? Hayden, anything?
Not on these specific items, no.
Okay. Janine?
No, nothing.
My only comment is on the how to read your bill, given that Rick's just come on board. Is he getting to peruse or provide any feedback on any of this stuff before it goes out? Given
Yes.
opinion?
Yes, definitely. We are going to be reviewing everything with Rick and his team to ensure that we're putting out information that is going to be comparable to the messages we already have been set in place with our finance and customer service team.
Great. Thank you.
I think too, on the April, that CIP project update, when I saw this, I mean, I think that's a good opportunity to update everybody on the pump station progress and kind of share some stuff there. Because I think timing on, people start to lose their memory about, timing of everything and how this is going to occur. And so thoroughbred to be about complete, it should be. So I think there'll be some nice photos there, but I think highlighting that too is probably going to be important, making sure, yeah, that message continues.
Alrighty. Anything else?
You just answered my last question. It was, when is Thoroughbred Lane planned to be completed? And so that's great. Thank you.
Okay. Item 17, public communications and related media stories, for real this time.
We finally have hit that stride where we just have some great news about us and no more detachment information. So at the beginning of January, we had a nice feature about our 70th anniversary that gave a brief history of, all of the accomplishments we've had over the past year and our 70 years. And then there was a small article about the E EMWD FPUD approval. We were mentioned in it because of the redistricting that's going to have to occur once we fully detach, and how that will be annexed into another member's district. Or another member, I'm sorry, a representative's district.
Why are these two men laughing? That's what I wanted.
Because they made the front page.
That's right. Well, the guy on the right's laughing for a different reason than the guy on the left. Just saying. All right, keep going. Sorry.
Okay, and then we have a few articles here from our board meetings, just capturing some of the bid process requirement, and then member Gasca stepping down from the board. It was a great article about Mig and his career and all of his accomplishments here at the district.
Excellent.
And the last one is about the contract being awarded for the pump stations. And that was all of our media clips for the month of January.
And on the award, that's all done. There's nothing else will happen on that. I mean, I know in the past that sometimes there have been wrinkles on some awards with whether losing bid or challenges or anything like that. But there's
Yeah, we didn't, there was no controversy on this one. It was the low bidder. We didn't get any bid protests. It was all clean.
got it. Thanks. Okay, anything else?
That was it.
Any comments, questions from the committee members with regards to any other related media stories that you'd want to reference? Bill, anything?
Sure can't think of one.
Okay, Hayden.
I have one which is a challenge. It probably should have done it in the earlier comments. I had a neighbor approach me last week. Last weekend, and he was absolutely excited. He'd been talking to a friend and had found out about Flume and just bought one and installed it. And I'm sure 2 years ago I talked to him about my unit, but the point is he doesn't read the newsletter. His wife pays the bills, I guess. He doesn't have a reason to go to the website. So the challenge is if we take something like Flume that we're trying to promote to our ratepayers, are there other effective or potentially effective ways to communicate that we're not utilizing today? I mean, for example, I don't know whether we have a YouTube channel, if you will. You know, that would potentially go beyond our district boundaries, but you know, Flume is something that anybody would benefit from, and having it out there where it can be discovered in a more regular communication format than the traditional formats we're using today, since a lot of our ratepayers just aren't reading those things. I don't know the answer to that challenge, but it's ever since I talked to him, I've been frustrated. Like, how could he have missed all those communications?
If it's something that you want to promote, perhaps when you're doing some of the outreach, like at the Avocado Festival or other places.
Well, that's why I suggested we include Flume at in the Avocado Festival. You know, we generally have that simple setup. We could put a Flume device on the meter, you know, and be able to point to it and talk about it. But there again, you know, what about doing a YouTube piece? It could be integrated into our website as well. But I don't know. It's just something I wanted to put out there. It's a challenge. I don't have a solution to it.
Sure. Well, no, Hayden, that's a good point. And I think, you know, I think we've got some of those how-to videos, right? Those Flume how-to videos on the website now.
Yes, we do.
Yeah, some of those things are there, but
But what about posting them to something like YouTube?
that's where they are right now, right? But
Yeah.
they're
They're linked to Flume's YouTube site. So we would have to either coordinate with Flume to have them create something for us, or we would create something internally. But that's definitely a area we can discuss at the communications workshop.
Mhm.
And we can delve
Yeah.
into better ways to disseminate information through our channels of communication.
Oh, that's a really good
Okay.
point. Hayden, though, the other thing I was thinking and have been thinking about is, back to the neighborly conversations, right? I mean, we don't, we don't have a town hall, we're not, this isn't back in, Faneuil Hall or whatever in Boston, but there are a lot of smaller groups, right?
Right.
Whether it's a homeowners association, whether it's a road association, these are
Neighborhood blog.
yeah, these are areas where we can get the word out and update and provide updates to those groups, those neighbors that maybe they miss, right? So I think that's definitely a good topic to discuss on the 15th. I mean, we all can be evangelists,
Yep.
but
Well, this guy has become an evangelist. He was going to go talk to his neighbor and show him. The interesting situation he's got is his meter is about 400 feet from his parcel and not a clear line of sight, and he's not having any communication problems.
Yeah, that little low whatever frequency thing I think works pretty well. But on your topic though about or comment suggestion with regards to the Avocado Festival, I think it's one thing to have a box that's wrapped around a meter, or the little device wrapped around the meter, and you can show how easy it is to install. 2 rubber bands basically. But the other is, but I know we got a kind of a large, a good sized booth is, maybe we have something blown up, a poster size thing of the app in the dashboard where they can see no leaks on the left. Your water consumption, water is running right now at your water consumption, because that's what people now respond to. This is information this simple. It's in the palm of my hand because you strap one of these things to your water meter. It's great. I mean, I had construction done, demo this past week right before the rain. It's great timing. But I had all the cement on my patio, my back patio, jackhammered up, and so they had a breaker on a Bobcat in there, zipping around my patio, just making a total mess of things. But the entire time, when I walked the job with them beforehand, I'm pointing out, here's where my electric line is, here's where my water line is, here's where, these are the places I'd like you to be super extra careful. But while they're working there for 2 days, I can just really quickly open up that app and see, do I have water running? When I know water shouldn't be running, right? Have they hit anything? And rather than having to walk around and see if you've got a big puddle forming, it's kind of nice to have some of that information right at your fingertips. So to have some type of a display of how easy that app is and what the benefits they're going to get, that would be a great visual for people walking in and out of a booth at the Avocado Festivals. Just thought. Okay, other comments?
Yeah, I have one, and that is, we undertook about 3 or 4 years ago, maybe 5 now, to put in a whole series of water reducing stations or valves in various areas around various subdivisions, particularly in the Palo Mesa area, because those are old subdivisions built back in the 70s, early 80s to mid to 90s, and I know in the little area that I live in, Palo Mesa Fairway Villas, we have 134 units, and we repaved our streets completely removed and replaced our streets in 2015. And over the next 4 or 5 years had 14 mainline blowouts, mostly at junctions. Basically ruined our complete rebuild of the roads. Even though they did a nice job of patching all of those, there's been, you know, subsequent difficulties with trying to keep together the road surface. But the point I'm making is that investment, it would be fairly easy for the operations department to determine how many different mainline blowouts and lateral blowouts they had through the periods before those pressure reducing stations were installed, and now what's happened since. We haven't had one, and now it's been 2.5 years, and it just stopped it all. And so, you know, the old water system just did not have facilities for dealing with low-lying areas where we had tanks up high and tremendous head pressure that was, you know, basically outgunning the water delivery system. So I think that those are the kind of things where you see direct results from investment. And those weren't cheap. You know, ours I think cost $125,000. You know, for a relatively small area, but they make tremendous difference in terms of. I was told that every time we open up a street, go down, you know, 10 feet, excavate a huge area, then have to, you know, replace the pipe. This all has to happen literally continuously and overnight to get the job done so the water can go back on in the neighborhood. And so every time you do that, that's a $15,000 to $20,000 bill, or at least it was 3 or 4 years ago. And it not only saves the district tremendous amount of money, but it saves a lot of damage to the streets and difficulties for the communities involved. So
Yeah, I'll just pile on there that one large asphalt job, $125,000, we can blow past that easy. So yeah.
Well, and Jake, you had one here. The last one that we had, you know, blew out a main line at the top of a little hill, and by the time it was discovered, which happened to be in front of my driveway, the asphalt looked like waves coming into a shoreline, and it had wrecked virtually 150 yards of road. So that all had to come out. All the road surface had to come out. It had to be recompacted base and a new road once to solve the problem. And to, you know, like you said, it cost $100,000, I think, to do that. And and so
yeah, our operations staff, they report that stuff monthly, you know, the breaks, and then I get an annual. I remember seeing it this, you know, a month ago, basically an annual count on our emergency responses, our leaks. So that's interesting. I'd have to look back a few years and see how that's trended.
Yeah, just a thought.
All right, thanks, Bill. Okay, item 18 then, list of suggested agenda items for the next meeting. I'd like to keep 11. Don't really think we won't have 12 or 13, right? Maybe a recap of 14, where how we came out of the meeting. Yeah.
Yes.
Anything that we should be putting on the agenda? And 15 will cover any planning for the Avocado Festival, yes?
Yes.
We actually have 2 meetings before it. The strategic communication plan prep would be for the 7th with the meeting on the 15th.
Meetings this month, right?
Yes, February 15th.
Oh, February. I'm sorry. I thought, never mind. I'll go back to sleep.
You're doing fine, baby. Yeah, that meeting's coming up fast.
Yep.
Okay, anything from management or the team that we should be looping back to that the committee's not thinking about? That you'd like to talk about? Put on the agenda? Sounds like a no. Okay. Anything else before we adjourn?
Yeah, I was gonna say is I never mentioned Carlene's in jury duty, so she didn't just ditch us today. She was doing her civic duty.
Nice.
She
Yeah.
couldn't get out of it.
No, she was sitting in, I guess, in the court I think she is as this is going on. So
Well,
Too funny. I'll tell you my stories another time. All right, I think we're good. Well, we are adjourned. It is 4:48. Thank you so much, everybody. Thanks. Great
everybody.
job. Great presentation.
Take care.
Appreciate the information.
Thank you.
great meeting.
thanks.
Thank you.
Bye.